Hello folks, myself Dr. Sangita Diliprao Sonawane. I welcome you all back to my channel, and today we will be discussing about some important points on which I have been frequently asked questions. The topic being preparation for your Fmge on next examination during your UG days while you are in a university, while you are preparing for your examinations. So I'm here to share some basic information about my preparation during my UG days, which would be more practical, and I will also tell you some mistakes that I have made, and I would like guys you to rectify those and not repeat those again during your preparation. So let's begin with this session. The first point I would say is that the preparations would begin for the examinations usually when the day you enter the med school. Okay, the day you enter the med school, your preparations begin either knowingly or unknowingly. By this, what I mean is each and every class, module, or activity that you attend plays a very important role, and that will definitely add up to your knowledge. Okay, so now the main mistake that we as FMGs or foreign medical graduates usually make is just reading for the sake of passing your modules. So please remember guys, just modules or your activities, okay, or your class, you should not be your ultimate goal. So please remember, neither the exam should be your ultimate goal. So please remember this, neither exams nor these modules or activities are your ultimate goal. So what is your final ultimate goal? So please remember, the final aim should be your patients. So please remember, just think about your patients. The day you will encounter your patients, that is your final aim, right? Who are going to trust you, and who will you will be the only hope for your patients and their family members. So for study for that day guys, I would request you with both the hands, please study for that day when your patients are going to trust you blindly. If this becomes your aim, that is, your patients become your aim, then definitely medicine doesn't just remain a course, rather medicine becomes your passion. And that is what is required to just what we can say, pass these exams with flying colors, right? So please remember, you will say that we don't have practical exposure, and therefore we don't have this motivation of just studying for our UG course. So please remember guys, I would frankly say that this is the biggest excuse that we FMGs give usually, right? That we can easily give, that we don't have patience to practice upon. But guys, I have grown as a person over the years, and now I firmly believe that rather than regretting about the opportunities that we do not have, rather just make the most out of the opportunities, or just be grateful and thankful about the ones that you have received, right? So the opportunities now you have, make the most out of it, right? So the patients will be your final destination, but on the journey to become a better doctor, you need to be clear with your theoretical knowledge. Okay, so please remember, the goal for your UG days should be just acing your theoretical knowledge. Okay, acing your theoretical knowledge, that is very much important during your UG days. Along with this, you need to just have your basics crystal clear. Okay, the concept should be very crystal clear to understand the applied and the clinical aspect of any of the subject or the topic you are going through. So unless and until you are not crystal clear with these concepts, you will face difficulties definitely in your clinical practice. So as a big brother, I would request you all to start studying from now onwards, and by now I begin now itself, from today itself, right? Because tomorrow never comes. As we all know, tomorrow never comes. Preparations are not mostly about hard work. Okay, these preparations, they are not usually only about hard work. Yes, hard work plays a very important role, but smart work is very much important. So please remember, for all these examinations that you are preparing, smart work, it acts as a catalyst in your preparation. So please remember, it acts as a catalyst in your preparations, right, in your journey. So don't sit for long hours just mugging up the concepts, or just be blank while scrolling through your mobile. Okay, that study is not going to help you at all. That is not leading you anywhere. Rather, study effectively just for 2 to 3 hours, okay, daily without fail, and just attentively with maximum concentration. I know concentration is a huge issue with all of us, but to just sustain concentration, what we can do is just to develop a longer attention span, you need to just regularly practice it. And how to practice it? Start with maximum time. Okay, start with just maximum time you can sustain. Okay, maximum time that you can sustain. Either it can be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes. Maximum time you can sustain studying without a break, you can just do that. And then after 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you can take a break, have some tea, roam here and there, and then get back to your studies again. Okay, this is definitely helping you building up your attention span. Every day just increase 5 minutes in that. Okay, so 15 minutes you have studied for the first day, next day you will sit for 20 minutes, next day 25 minutes. So likewise you will definitely build up your attention span over the years. Okay, and then it would be very easy for you to sit for long hours also during your preparation days, right? Then I would strongly recommend you guys to only follow your textbooks during your UG days. This question I have received from many of you guys. Okay, I do not recommend following any of the online platforms or any of the shorter notes during your first year itself. From the first year itself, I have always been a firm believer and a fan of reading books. So I would still recommend you guys to just study books for at least your important subjects. Okay, the shorter subjects, for that you can attend your classes after that, but for your basic subjects and for the major subjects you need to study books. Okay, so I would be just recommending you some important books for your subjects. Okay. Before that, I would like you guys to just consider this fact that you need to follow all these books or all this schedule that you need to make. It is according to your university. Okay, I am going over here recommending things according to the pattern that we had in our university in ISM, but it might be different in your university. Maybe you will have some subjects in second year, some subjects in third year, okay, or vice versa. But that is totally fine. You need to follow according to your semester. You need to go according to that plan. Okay, and just read whatever is required. Like you have anatomy in first year, so just read for anatomy from the books itself. For your modules or activities, whatever the topic it is, just read from the modules rather than just following the PPTs provided by your teachers. I would recommend you to follow your textbooks, mainly the standard textbooks which are required. Okay, so if you study those textbooks, there would not be a hectic task for you to cope up with your activities also and final preparations also. So you are just combining or compiling them together, which is making your preparations a lot easier, right? So therefore combining these two things is helping you a lot. So now I will start with some recommendations for your all subjects. Okay, and the book recommendations that I have for you guys from the first year itself. Okay, so from first year, as we know, the basis of medicine is formed by these two important subjects. Okay, out of which ANET have not always been a good fan of ANET. I am like not a person who can study anatomy easily. Therefore I have studied it towards my last days, so this was a mistake I did. But please, I would recommend you guys to study ANET in the first year itself. Then the other subjects would become quite easier for you guys. Okay, so I'll be giving you some standard books which are followed worldwide, and I will be giving my recommendations, my personal recommendations that I would like you guys to follow, but it is your personal perception what you would like. Right, so for anatomy, it is Gray's Anatomy which is usually preferred worldwide, but in cases of India, we usually prefer BDC, that is BD Chaurasia, as a textbook, or also you prefer Atlas of Netter. Okay, you prefer Atlas of Netter for all the anatomy images, okay, for reference. Then for physiology, the standard textbook, as we all know, those are your Guyton and Genong. But at times it becomes very difficult to read these Guyton and Genong textbooks. Therefore, I would recommend you to follow either A.K. Jain or Soman Manna. Okay, Dr. Soman Manna, Dr. A.K. Jain. These are some very renowned faculties, and their review books have always played an important role in preparations. And also Sambulingam is a good book. Many of the faculties or many of the other students don't recommend Sambulingam, but I would recommend Sambulingam because it is the just most primitive book that you can actually read to form your basis of physiology. Okay, to just and then you can go to more pronounced book like A.K. Jain or Soman Manna. Right. Apart from this, then I would start with a subject which is usually considered a first year subject like biochem. So for biochem, it is a very interesting subject, guys. It is totally like what we can say a conceptual based subject, and that should be studied thoroughly. Okay, I like biochem usually. Therefore, biochem के लिए standard book is your Harper's, whereas in India we usually prefer Satyanarayana. Okay, so Satyanarayana, or also we can prefer a review book of Dr. Rebecca James, ma'am. So that is also a good book to be followed. Right, then after biochem, the next important subject is your pathology. To understand now what is the difference from physiology, you need to study pathology in details. So the standard book, as we all know, it is your Robbins and Cochrane. Okay, but Robbins and Cochrane is a very huge book to be studied, a massive book, and I could not study that massive book. Therefore I have studied from a Indian book known as Harsh Mohan, or also you can study from the review book of Dr. Spash Gupta sir. That is a great book to be followed. Okay, then talking about the next one, that is your pharmacology. For pharmacology, the standard book, as we all know, and I have been a great fan of this book because I didn't find it difficult to the language wasn't even difficult of Lippincott to be followed for pharmacology. But in India, as we know, the widely accepted book is KD Tripathi, whereas a review book is also available by Dr. GRG, that is Dr. Govind Rai Garg sir. Okay, that can also be followed. Whereas for the next other subjects, like the major subject now in third year, okay, the first major subject usually starts in third year, that is preventive and social medicine or community medicine. It can have various names. Okay, so PSM, for PSM the standard book, as we all know, it is Parks, but Parks is a huge book again. Therefore I would recommend a review book by Dr. Vivek Jain sir. That is a good book to be followed for your PSM preparations. Then now after PSM, a very important subject that starts is your medicine. Okay, it is the most important subject, and people say that leave medicine, and I am the one who says don't leave medicine at all, because medicine is the subject which covers all other subjects. If you are at least reading medicine for once, it will help you prepare all your other subjects, definitely. So medicine should not be left anyways. Okay, so medicine should be read during your UGDs also, and you should not leave it during your preparations also. Okay, for medicines, the standard book, as we all know, is your Harrison's textbook. So Harrison's is a huge book, I know, but I have also not gone through all the Harrison's, but at least I have tried to read the important topics from Harrison's which are commonly repeated, like hypothyroidism, diabetes mellitus, okay, cardiomyopathies, myocardial infarction. At least these topics which are very much common, I have tried to just go through once from Harrison. Otherwise the preferred book that we have is Davidson's usually, which is a very short book, and also you can prefer Dr. Deepak Marwa sir's medicine review book. That is also a great book to be followed. Then apart from medicine, then we have our pediatrics. Pediatrics के लिए the standard book followed is Nelson's, which is a very good book to be followed, and then there is an Indian book known as OP Guide. So yeah, both of these books are good. You can follow either of them. Okay, no worries. Then usually in fourth year we have another subject in ISM, that is your OBG, obstetric and gynecology. Please remember guys, this is the most important subject for your preparations also and overall also. So OBG के लिए for ops you have your Williams textbook of obstetrics, that is a great book, and for gynecology you have your Shaw's gynecology textbook. But as we know, these are again two massive books, so therefore we have book that is recommended in India, that is DC Datta. So please remember, DC Datta is a book which can be followed for obstetric and gynecology in India. Okay, then apart from OBG, now next important subject is your surgery. Okay, so for surgery, as we all know, surgery have always been an important subject. For surgery, usually worldwide they prefer Bailey and Love, which is also a great book to be followed. I have also read some topics from Bailey and Love because due to some time constraints and the fun that we used to have during our UG days, Bailey and Love was not a practical thing for me. Therefore, I just didn't skip it, but I hope to read it someday soon. So Bailey and Love is the recommended textbook that you need to follow, whereas the widely used book over here, at least in ISM and otherwise, it is the Manipal's Manual of Surgery that we read. Okay, so it is the Manipal's Manual of Surgery, which is a shorter book to be read. Then next one is your orthopedics, also known as traumatology in some universities. So orthopedics or traumatology, the recommended book that I would suggest you guys is your Maheshwari. Okay, so Maheshwari is a very good book in cases of orthopedics. You can read it easily. Okay, then next one are your two important clinical subjects, and that we tend to leave, and those cannot be left at any cost. First is your ENT. The recommended book from my side for ENT is your Dingra's textbook of ENT. Our teacher also asked us to follow this, therefore it was easier for us to cope up with the activities also and our preparations also. So ENT got much easier because we followed this. And for Optha, the another book that I have gone through is Dr. A.K. Khurana, which is a very good book. Okay, so A.K. Khurana is a good book for ophthalmology to be followed. And now about all the shorter subject, guys, that I have already recommended you. So shorter subjects can be covered from all your online platforms that you have, or better from your classes that you join. Okay, so in your vacation batches you can join, or after coming over here in Gautam Nagar or any of the institutes that you have. Okay, so I have been associated with AFMG, so you can just be a part of these institutes and attend these offline sessions. Offline sessions have always been effective, as we know, because I have been a fan of offline sessions and I have got the privilege to attend some offline MCI preparation classes during my UG days. As in ISM we used to have some Fmge preparation classes, now we don't usually have frequently, but yeah, so that was the privilege that we had. So I would recommend you guys to follow any of the offline sessions that you can get. Okay, just grab those opportunities, go and attend these sessions, don't miss out on this. I have missed out on many of the offline sessions that we used to have out there in Bishkek, but I regret it still that many of the subjects that I just missed out over there. And I would strongly recommend you that don't miss out on any subject over there that has been carried out in your university for your Fmge preparations, right? Along with this, now questions have been asked me about your MCQs. So I would recommend you solve some MCQs daily. Okay, at least not daily, so at least if you have read some topic, then after that topic you can go to many platforms you have. Okay, online, offline, many platforms you have. You have books for your MCQs for Fmge. Okay, so all these platforms can be followed. No platform is bad. Any of these platforms can be followed for solving MCQs. Telegram groups are there. There are multiple Telegram groups. AFMG also has its own Telegram group to be followed for your MCQs, where regularly MCQs are given. Okay, so please remember, practice as many as MCQs, which I did not do during my UG days, but yeah, that is a great thing to be done, because this is a retrospective study pattern of study that we usually follow during our preparations. So if you're not sure about the topic, if you solve your MCQs, you read the explanations, you get a major idea about the topic. And if you still are not doing good in those MCQs, then you can go back to the topic again, read that topic again. So likewise, it becomes easier for you to analyze yourself. Okay, so this is the recommendation I have strongly in regards to your MCQs. Then guys, apart from this, the major question that has come to me, either like to take these online platforms from the start of the year itself. I have already told you, don't take your online platforms from the start of your preparation, from start of your UG days. Online can be preferred either in your 4th or 5th year, but offline sessions have always been a great go-to thing. Okay, so offline sessions can be preferred whenever you have time, or you can just manage it accordingly. So that would be my recommendation. Apart from this, guys, I would also recommend you guys to just not worry about this thing. Okay, this thing is I feel what we can say, most of them think it as a disaster in our career. So please remember, guys, national exit test or next is nothing. Okay, it is the same as Fmge, only some of the things have been changed. What have been changed is that IMGs and Fmges both will give this examination now, and this has just, what we can say, bridged up the gap that we had between IMGs and Fmges, because I have seen Fmges just lowering down their confidence because of the fact that they are in some way inferior to IMGs. Please don't think so, guys. Those people who have grabbed the IMG government seats in government medical colleges in India have studied hard during their UG days. We failed to do so. We did not secure our rank, but that's totally fine. Okay, we have coped up. Now we are giving an exam which is the foreign medical graduate examination, and then we are getting a license to practice over in India. So that is totally fine. Okay, we are in no way inferior to these people. So a lot of respect to IMGs, but definitely FMGs are no way inferior to any of the IMGs studying over here. Okay, so please remember, FMGs are more passionate or more enthusiastic during their internship days also, because they have a immense passion, immense perseverance to learn all these things. Okay, all the clinical exposure that they get. So please remember, guys, just don't fear about this. Now there is no gap between IMGs and FMGs with this national exit test coming up. The second important thing that would be different is just the exam pattern. As we all know, FMG was more one liner oriented. Now the exam pattern is changing, okay, and it is not like what we can say, a major barrier won't be there, because from August FMG exam itself the exam pattern has started changing, and now it is becoming more clinically oriented anyways. Okay, so the FMG has also become more clinically oriented, which would be the same thing with next. Okay, so these are the two important criteria on which the next would be different. And the third important thing would be that next would have, according to the provisional draft that we have received, the National Medical Commission have not come up with any final guidelines yet. Okay, any final draft is not yet out. So the only provisional guidelines that we have, according to that, we can just think that next is going to be taken into what we can say, there would be two tests of next. First is your next one and second is your next two. Okay, next one would be considering all your pre and paraclinical subjects, whereas next two would be covering all your clinical subjects. Okay, next two would be common for your Indian as well as foreign medical graduates. Okay, so this is the basic information that we have got. And the second thing, which is totally final, okay, from the draft we have received, from the letter that NMC have released recently, that 2023 would be the first next examination. So 2018 or 17 batch is the first one to give this next examination, and that is totally fine. Okay, don't fear, next is nothing else, it is just the modification of the previous FMG pattern that we had. You don't need to worry about it. The medical syllabus is going to remain the same, right? So please remember, FMG ka syllabus jo hai, it would be only followed in next. It is only that the pattern of asking question would be different. Okay, so please remember, guys, the pattern of question is different, the questions are not different. Okay, the topics which were high yielding important previously would remain high yielding and important now in next also, right? So please remember, textbooks to nahi change hone wali, Harrison's will not change, Davidson's will not change, right? So next is only from the these standard textbooks. Okay, next would be following these standard textbooks, and nothing is changed in the standard textbooks. Therefore I would only recommend you to follow these textbooks throughout your preparations, and then to narrow down your preparations, you can follow any of the institutes or any of your classes that with the faculty that you have, right? So this should be your approach during your UG days, guys, for your pattern of study. Along with that, guys, don't forget to have fun, because UG days are the only ones where we actually have fun. Okay, because I have been like what we can say, having a lot of fun during my UG days, and yeah, those are the only days. Don't just stress yourself out because of the what we can say, the next examination or the FMG examination. Okay, that is going to happen if you are studying regularly, if you are just persistent. Okay, that is going to happen. Don't need to worry about that. Okay, so just enjoy with your friends, have fun, but along with that also study regularly. Try to just spare out some time for your studies, and at least some time for your patients, which are going to trust you. Okay, and lastly, I would end this session with the final quote that I strongly believe in. Okay, and this quote I have like all on my social media handles, and this is the quote which have motivated me throughout. This is the quote I have come up with, and this says that passion, patience and perseverance makes a physician. So please remember, you need to understand this quote, guys, that a physician who is formed, okay, the physician is formed by these three P's, these three important qualities. That there should be passion, there should be immense passion for medicine in us. We should be patient throughout the 5 years. We should wait. We should be patient throughout our preparations. And lastly, we should be persistent. We should have this quality of perseverance. Okay, aaj padha 4 din nahi padha, this is not going to help, definitely, right? So passion, patience and perseverance are the three important P's that will help to become a physician, right? And I also have one more addition in this. If you are crazy about surgical branches like me, so I have one addition more in this, and a S for skills makes you a surgeon. So this is my motivation. This quote helps me motivating, getting up every day, going back to my studies, going back to my notes, reading it, and then coming in front of you people, helping you out. And I hope now with this motivation, you people would start your preparations. And with this, I end this session. Thank you so much, and all the best for your preparations, guys. Okay, let's meet in some another session. Goodbye.